Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mahr's December Product of the Month webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about the MarSurf M310 Portable Roughness Measuring Instrument. I'm your presenter, George Schutz, Director of Precision Gauges here in Providence, Rhode Island. And as we go through today's seminar and webinar, if you have any questions, use the chat boxes to type them in, and I will respond to them after the completion of the webinar. So again, thank you for attending today's webinar. Today we're going to learn about the new M310 Mobile Surface Measuring System, which is our product of the month and is also in our Mahr Lights promotional flyer. And as we start, we're going to talk a little bit about what surface finish is and why to measure it, what the M310 is, its features, some of its accessories, applications where you can use it, why you need it, and again, we'll talk about the Mahr Lights and the product of the month of promotion. So let's get started. Monitoring surface finish is getting more and more important today. Products for aerospace, electronics, automotive, medical, precision manufacturing, all are requiring tighter and tighter tolerances. So as those dimensional tolerances tighten, form and surface errors become more significant. So every surface has some function, and really unless you have it measured, you don't know if it's going to have the product perform as it is desired. So this chart on the right here just shows a little bit about how tolerances, back in the 40s and 50s were pretty wide open, and any form errors were really a small percentage of that tolerance. But today, you can have some very tight tolerances, and form and surface finish can be up to 50% of that tolerance sometimes. So why is surface finish something that should be controlled? Well, there's a number of different reasons. Appearance is a very critical one. Finishes can appear shiny or reflectivity or inconsistent, and by measuring surface, you can help to control those different appearances. You can measure surface finish for its function. One way of a surface a function is the adherence of a coating. You can have a surface that's too smooth and the paint won't stick to it, or if the surface is too rough, the paint will not cover it, and you'll see those wavy factors within that finish. Or the way surfaces interact with each other. Sliding surfaces, you want them pretty smooth, but you may want to create a special roughness in that surface so that the oils can fill that and help lubricate it. So you can create custom surfaces for certain applications. And in the manufacturing process, you can fine-tune the speed of the machining operations to get the quality that you need, but also have them run at the best performance. And if there is some type of problem, you can use surface finish to analyze what's going on. So there's lots of reasons to why surface finish should be controlled. And most surface finishes come from the very basic components of a machining process. Here we might have a lathe, which has a spindle, which has a cutter on it, which has a motor, and all those things contribute to the finish that's applied onto the part. So you can get a waviness or a profile from the machine bed. You can get vibration from outside sources. You can get a roughness, which is basically the tool marks, and all those things lay on top of each other to create a surface finish. Now, in the past, we used to measure surface finish with a scratch block or tester where you would take your fingernail, run it over there, and compare that to the part that you're trying to measure. Well, that's okay way of doing it, but there's lots of inconsistencies between various people measuring that surface. Now there are some very sophisticated methods for the measurement of surface finish using mechanical contacts, or now even optical surface finish is available with some very good repeatable results. But in the contact world, there's two methods for making a surface roughness check. The skidded method is one where a skid with a sensitive contact passing through it is dragged over the part, and as the probe moves up and down through the skid, we're recording the roughness of that part. And again, because that skid follows the part, we're not going to get any of the waviness or profile information because the skid is following the profile. So all we're going to get is a roughness measurement. A skidless measurement system operates a little bit differently, where there's a very precise datum guide in the probe, and the probe is dragged over the part, comparing any variation to that reference drive. So this allows us to see profile, waviness, and roughness all at the same time. So Mahr provides both types of evaluation systems. Most of the portable roughness instruments are skidded measurements, but we do also have a skidless portable system. Now, there's lots of different parameters to allow us to evaluate the surface finish. In fact, there's over 100 of them. And those different parameters have different functions specifically to evaluate the way the surface is to perform. So you can have parameters that are meant to evaluate the manufacturing process, or the capabilities, the characteristics of the surfaces. For example, oil retention, for example. And there's also other instruments out there that can really analyze what's happening to the surface. But the most common roughness parameter is R sub A, which is roughness average, and it looks at the peaks and the valleys, or the various different heights, and uses an averaging method to qualify the surface. So this averaging method gives a good general indication of the surface. It's very easy to understand and visualize, and you can qualify or quantify the surface with just a single number. So the RA might be, 60 RA, for example, or 60 microinches. So it's a way of qualifying the surface very simply, and it's very easy to understand. But you still have to know how the surface is being used to use RA, for example, because here's two surfaces that might produce the same RA, but you can see they have really a different contact. One's kind of a very pointy contact, and the other one is more rounded. So while they can give the same surface roughness result, those two surfaces can perform very differently when interacting in other parts. So it's important to understand and know what the function of the surface is before you employ the roughness parameter that you're going to use. But our goal today is to talk about the MarSurf M310, and with this, I think we can guarantee your success with roughness analysis. The M310 is a flexible, multi-talented system. It's a skidded system for mobile use in workshop conditions. Its high precision method of measurement with the stylus allow for testing of roughness on very small or large workpieces. And today, most people are used to working with a smartphone, and this is kind of the concept that the M310 follows. The display looks like a smartphone, it acts like a smartphone, it's a touchscreen type of display. So it's really the perfect way of somebody who's not familiar with surface finish analysis to start making very good measurements, because they can become familiar with the product very quickly. Now, just taking a look at the M310, some of the nice features about it. It has a nice, large, over 4-inch touchscreen display. It's color, scratch resistant, and just like a smartphone, you can rotate it to the view that's best for you. We have some status LEDs that signify when it's making a measurement or when the unit is charging. It has a nice large start button that's resistant to chemicals and so forth, so it's meant to be used by a user in shop floor type conditions. The probe can be integrated into the unit, or it is removable with an extension cable, so you can get into some smaller parts this way. It's really programmable to do different things. You can assign function keys on here to do certain parameters, like save the data or print the data by a single key on the display. There's a calibration standard that's built into the unit. The M310 also has a Bluetooth output, which can be connected to a small portable printer. Now, people are probably saying, well, why do you need a printer or paper when you have other ways of storing the data? Well, nothing's better than having a piece of paper sometimes to show or to convey to somebody what's going on with the process. So you can get a little printout, you can stick it to the part or into the envelope that's going along or traveling with that part, and it's a very fast way of conveying what's going on to other users of the part or other quality control people or process control people as the part is being manufactured. And the starred function here is we have a lot of new output features where you can collect data through MarCom. We have an ASCII output now. We have a way for a USB socket. So there's lots of outputs available for the automation of the MarSurf M310, and we'll talk about those in a minute. In terms of some of the operational feature, I mentioned the large illuminated 4.3-inch touch display. It's rotatable. It's easy to use as a smartphone, so very little training is required. We use a unique Mahr feature where we can automatically select the cutoffs based on the measurement that's being made. So even non-measurement type technicians can get good results by letting the M310 do the automatic cutoff selection. And what we do is, after each measurement is made, we create a chart, as seen on the right side here, of the result, and that's stored on the M310 in a PDF format. So when you plug the M310 into a computer, it acts as a memory stick, and the computer looks at that just as a normal file location, and you can see all your PDF reports automatically. So here's the selector view screen of showing the different rotations of possible orientation for the display. The display is, again, a colored display, so you can see the resulting trace, and you can set limits for green or red, so when that parameter goes out of tolerance, the user can see that, and those same auto tolerances are shown on the PDF output. So lots of ways to see what's going on with the results. The M310 has 31 roughness parameters, so it's offering basically the same parameter list as some of the more higher cost laboratory instruments, and you're getting this in a portable handheld device. The display And the printing can show your material ratio curves or your amplitude density curves. So, we talked about holding oil for lubrication or the way surfaces match together. Well, these are different types of ways of analyzing how two surfaces are going to act together. And like I said, for tolerance monitoring, tolerance limits can be set for all the selected parameters, and you can see those reds and greens on this display or part of the PDF printout. There's enough memory inside the M310 for at least 500,000 results. But if you even want to add a memory stick, you can multiply that by many factors. And all the measurements are done in according to international standards, whether ASME or DIN or ISO. The M310 applies those standards to the measurements. We also have software with the Marwin software called Quick and Easy. So if you wanted to do further analysis of those results, that's something that can be looked at and analyzed further. And like I said, we can apply some user programmable keys on the basic view to make the system easier, more than a one-button operation. Very simple for the operator to use. In terms of feature, we're offering the USB connector with Bluetooth, so that you can hook up the Bluetooth printer to get your results right at the point of manufacturing. The colorful LED readouts here allow for easy operation and understanding what's going on. And it's a rechargeable, battery-operated system, and you can get over 1,200 measurements without having to recharge the device. We mentioned that the probe is removable, and with the supplied cable, you can get into more difficult to use applications. So it's a very flexible, removable drive system. It has built-in adjustments in here. So if you have it integrated and you have to get to a step or something on a part, you can adjust the height accordingly. There's an integrated and removable calibration standard built into the system. And the whole product comes in a very heavy-duty transport case. We have an individual case for the M310 itself, and you can store all your cables, instruction manuals, the printer, and so forth, all within this handy case. Now, we talked about interfaces. Now, interfaces is a very important part of the M310 because it gives the user some more and very unique application capabilities that other products simply don't have. So we have the SD slot I mentioned for the micro SD card. You can put up to a 32 gig of card in there, so you can imagine the millions of data points that you can store. But we also use that as a way for a user to update the operating system. So, occasionally more features get added. We add a different parameter. We add some more things to the product. Well, with the SD card, the user can go ahead and update the operating system. In the middle here is the USB-A interface. So this is where we would plug in our USB Bluetooth adapter, or you can plug a cable in there to the printer. You can plug a barcode scanner or a keyboard into the device, depending on the different applications, and we'll mention those in a minute. We also have our Mahr Connect duplex interface for our MarCom professional software, so we can collect data and control the unit through MarCom. And there's a micro USB interface where you can connect this to a PC and let the unit operate as a memory stick. But we're offering now the unique capabilities of having remote control via ASCII commands. So we can build the M310 into a gauging process and have a PC or even a PLC take control of the M310 and make it part of the operation. So with the MarCom software and the Mahr Connect cable interface, we can collect data into an Excel with MarCom. What's very unique with the M310 and MarCom is that it has a built-in identification code for the M310. So not only are we collecting data with time and date and the results, we know what gauge made the actual measurements. So this is all part of putting the whole picture together when we're collecting data. We not only collect the information of the measurement, we know what gauge did it, and by that you can trace it back to know when that gauge was last calibrated. All part of a good data collection process. And with MarCom software, you can set tolerances, or you can control the product remotely through the cable. Lots of ways of operating the M310 with MarCom software. With the USB interface, there's a number of different things to do. You can, of course, connect the Bluetooth printer to the unit and do your chart recordings. We have the capabilities of plugging a barcode scanner in there and controlling the start and stop operations with the scanning by viewing the code, or we can use the barcode to upload the various parameters, their tolerances and so forth, so that the operator doesn't have to program the M310. You can do it through a bar scanning application. And you can also connect a USB keyboard, so if you want to customize the PDF header text and so forth, you can of course do that through the M310 touch code of the keypad, but if you want, you can plug in your keyboard and program it that way with all your various text, customer name, user, etc. The remote control via the micro USB is probably the biggest advantage with the M310, because you can now really control the whole product and build the M310 into various automatic or semi-automatic or even manual stations. So now with the commands, you can start the measurement, you can change the settings on the M310, you can request the settings or the data from the M310, or you can even use the M310 as a monitor or as a remote display and give commands to the user when it's time to maybe remeasure a part. So lots of capabilities through the micro USB interface. So here's some applications of roughness at the point of manufacture. You can measure big parts or small parts right on the shop floor. It's designed to be used by the operator at the point of manufacture. But you can also use the M310 in various stands and in benchtop applications. With Mahr makes a number of different stands available for different types of applications. You can take the drive system and probe out of the M310 and use it in our little handheld V with height adjustments to put that in a part or on top of a part to make a measurement. Or we can build the M310 into a custom fixture so that the operator simply has to place the part onto the fixture, press the start button, and the measurement is made. No trying to align the part to the probe system. It's all done as part of the custom gauge solution. And all the accessories that are available for all the various other roughness products that Mahr has, the PS10, for example, are all available, and they all work with the M310. We make probes for small bores, for deep grooves, for measuring geared tooth lengths and so forth, or we offer extensions to allow the probe to get further into a small bore. So all these standard accessories are all compatible with the M310. We mentioned the data connection cable. It's a bi-directional cable so that we can not only receive information, but we can also send data to the M310 to program it, tell it when to start, tell it what the tolerances are, and so forth. We include the test geometry standard with the unit. We have a whole series of different standards that are available. There's a new magnetic holder for the M310, so if you have a very large part, you can use this to have the part stay on the part without the operator influence the measurement. And just like your cell phone, we have display protection films, which are real glass, which can be purchased to help protect it when used in the very harsh environments. So when you buy purchase a M310 set, you get all these different components to it. You get the case, you get the the various power adapters, all the cables, a folding card of parameters, the case for the product itself, and the storage case for the whole system. We also have a system available with a printer. The printer sits back here, and it's a Bluetooth printer, rechargeable, and you can get hours of use out of it. And just point out that the M310 again is our product of the month. You've seen the data sheet that's available for it. The prices are listed here. These are our introductory prices, as this is a new product, but we're promoting it as the product of the month. If you order in the month of December, you'll get a free Mahr mug with it. And if you ask, and if you need one, we have a 2-page brochure that talks about all the features that I've talked about today. So remember, the product of the month is our MarSurf M300. We've talked a little bit today about the importance of measuring surface finish. The M310 is our newest and most powerful, easiest to use roughness measuring system. It's portable. It can be used on tabletop applications, or it can be integrated into automated applications. Very powerful capabilities. And it's really the choice for at the point of manufacture inspection. And with Mahr and being product of the month, it's truly a great value. And why choose Mahr? Well, Mahr has a broad range of products to be used in the industrial metrology environment. We have the application people to help support you. We've got a great portfolio of wireless handheld tools that help you reach the requirements of Industry 4.0. Our promotional prices and quality help you achieve the best value. And we'll mail to you the link of the recording of this webinar in case you need it. You can get another PDF of the Mahr data sheet. And if you want more brochures or information, just email us here and we'll send them to you. So thank you for your attention. Take advantage of the Mahr brochure and the product of the month with the M310. And if you have any questions, just feel free to contact us. Thank you again for attending.